We're live.
Okay, we will open the Commissioners' meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the main part of our business today for this Commissioner meeting is to consider County Council, County Commissioner districts, and the redistricting process. Precincting.
And then redistricting.
And we have the county clerk in attendance to guide us through this.
Hello.
Hello.
So I feel like I've sent you lots of information via email on re-precincting. It is the commissioner's role to set our county precincts. So with the census done last year and the numbers released, the Indiana Election Division has fed me with information that I've shared with you on all of the subjects. And I am here to ask you to sign an order setting our precincts in Du Bois County. As previously discussed, we have 2 City of Jasper annexations that would be included in our re-precincting. One was done in 2018, one was done earlier this year in 2021. Those affect precincts Madison Jasper North and Madison 1. There's pretty much a field that's that was annexed into city limits. I think there was one house and one being built within that land mass. So that doesn't really affect too many voters at this point. The other annexation that was done in 2018 was part of Bainbridge 1. We made that a split precinct. So currently today we have 1.0 and 1.1 Bainbridge. That's very messy when it comes to election and ballots and those voters understanding what they need to vote on. Because if they call and ask the office and they say, I live in Bainbridge 1, and they don't specify the split, it can be confusing. So it's my opinion that instead of having a split precinct, we just include that Bainbridge 1.1 into Bainbridge 4 South. So then it's just clear on that. So otherwise, those were my suggestions as far as looking at the data that I reviewed for changes to precincts. Otherwise, I feel like it's responsible for us to just accept the new census lines. So what that means is there could be slivers from what we said our precinct lines were to what our new precinct lines would be, or what the census says that our precinct lines are. I feel like if we do nothing at all, we accept those lines. It is my opinion that we sign an ordinance that says we accept those lines as they've been presented to us by the census. So I've given some information to Greg Schneer, and he has prepared an order for you to sign if you want to take action on it today, stating that those 2 annexations or 4 precincts would be affected by this re-precincting process. Otherwise, we would accept as is the census lines. Questions on re-precincting?
Okay, 2 questions. I understood you to say Jasper Madison North and Madison 1.
Yes.
The GIS map had Madison 2. Is the GIS map wrong? Now, maybe that doesn't change the proclamation because they're going into Jasper North. So that probably doesn't change the ordinance.
It does change the ordinance. I have listed Madison 1. I may have looked at that incorrectly. I will pull it up and look at it real quick if you give me just a minute.
The GIS map has Madison 1, everything south and west. Madison 2 is the northeast corner of Madison Township, according to the GIS map, including Ireland, including the town of Ireland.
You are correct. I had that wrong.
Okay.
instead of Madison 1.
Instead of Madison 1, it is Madison 2. Thank you for that.
Okay, and the other thing is the slivers, I understood from a previous comment that those slivers would affect very few, if any, households.
I did a great amount of time on looking at those slivers on our GIS mapping. Our WTH laid them over the top of our mapping and allowed me to zoom in and look at every single line. And I found 2 houses that were incorrectly in our voter database. So we fixed those, but it affects no other houses or voters per se.
So will it change who and what they can vote for?
Those 2 houses were corrected and they hadn't voted on the incorrect ballots in the past. Their ballots would stay the same, but they were there was one in Ferdinand, I don't remember where that one was at, and there was one in Jasper. But they were fixed. They've not voted on a municipality in the past, and that's what it would have affected if they had. So I think we were fine. They were just errors that were previous to this entire process that we found through the process. But there were those slivers affected no one else.
Am I correct in remembering that it really only moved the line to cool? It didn't do anything. His backyard making it
Yeah,
with a precinct
Yeah,
line.
maybe straightened it up with some roads, or maybe, it's based on census blocks is what's driving that change, or those slivers. I don't know if it was how the lines were drawn before, if it was a census that drew them before, or if we as a county made a change to a line. I don't know that. I just know that what they're saying, the lines should be based on what they are today.
It almost looked like technology, maybe just over a decade, just cleaned it up and made it
Yeah.
straighter.
That would be my opinion too.
I think that's a good way to put it, technology straight and fix it.
Okay, so we're going to put that portion on hold while a updated order is presented. So I would propose that we move forward with ordinance number 2021-34. Can we do that?
It'd be my recommendation, we establish the precincts because then they were reflected in the ordinance. It's coming over.
Okay, so just put it on hold for a moment.
Correct.
We got it.
I just sent it to the clerk.
He sent it so you could bring it over.
Thank you for catching that.
Just
I
one
just, I brought it up here and I was looking at it and you
Thanks.
said, look at it.
Straight right over.
Is that one?
It takes.
So those are bigger than the smallest one.
For your son.
You're kind of correct. Pardon me?
You're gonna send those to me.
Oh, goodness. Text me a picture of her, whatever, I can bring it up online, she'll be like, he can barely ride a bicycle.
You'll just need the order, you've got the ordinance from last time.
Unless you changed it.
Not that I know of.
Okay.
So right the census numbers.
Do you need to appear at the solid waste meeting virtually? Do you? That's a regular meeting right after. I'm
And
gonna
this-
respond to Carla for
I
everything.
keep thinking, no, it's
Do
last.
you need it, or you're not,
She
you're
does
virtually,
not,
or
she does not,
and you're not here?
it'll be
Are you
kind
not
of
here
this
yet?
sort of thing.
Oh, you won't be here,
Go back to those.
possibly. You will be here
Yeah,
first.
I'll be here.
But the potential.
I'll respond to her for everybody. Elmer and I will be in person.
I think there's only so much
Michael's on lunch, she just called.
We're-
We'll try this one. Well, it's in your source, then let me know. Was it only-
Steps and flights, right?
Yeah.
Here you go. Here's a
Yeah.
proposed order reflecting appropriate districts.
Thank you, sir. I'm please handing that down to Mr. Brown, and you can check that out. Keep this eye on, see if there's anything.
Madison, Jasper, North. Okay. It's not Jasper, Madison.
It is not, it is Mad Jazz North.
Mad Jasper, okay, oh, we said Jasper, Madison.
That's
So did
because
I.
the taxing district is Jasper Madison.
Okay.
Oh.
I think we have Jasper Madison as a city.
Sign this, William, we haven't passed.
We haven't made a motion, we haven't, you can, and then we'll see what we wanna do with it. So let's see, mine was correct, food, Thornview, Ferguson, Madison, Mattoka. Commissioner Brown, is your District 2 consisting of all of Bainbridge Township? And we have Cass Hall, Ferdinand, Jackson.
That's the
For your own district.
redistricting. Okay, the first one's pre.
That's,
Right, yeah, so I was just kinda getting ahead while you were reviewing that. Okay, so we're back on page here. What I'll do is I will, just for the record, I will read the central section of this order for anyone here. So it's section 1, this is what we will order. DuBois County, by and through the Board of County Commissioners, establishes and revises the boundaries of certain precincts within the county. A precinct description and map of the boundary of each precinct submitted to the Indiana Election Division is attached here too and incorporated herein by reference. The attachment reflects changes to the following precincts. A, annexed area from Madison 2 into Mad-Jazz North as set forth and ordained by City of Jasper, Indiana Ordinance 2021-18, Brookstone 7. And B, annexed area from Bainbridge 1 into Bainbridge 4 South as set forth and ordained by City of Jasper, Indiana Ordinance 2018-7, Rolling Hills. This order will become effective January 2nd, 2022, to recognize the precinct boundaries which became effective on January 1st, 2022. If we establish this order. So I will move that we support and sign the order establishing precincts.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Any discussion from anyone in attendance? Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Alright,
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Second order of business, again, is ordinance number 2021-34, ordinance of the Board of Commissioners of DuBois County, Indiana, establishing county commissioner and county council districts for DuBois County, Indiana. And if you wouldn't mind, just for the record, refreshing us, I know that the county, for example, the county commissioners' districts aren't based on population from our discussions, but the county council districts are. And they are all within the
deviation that the state requests. So again, council districts are based on population, and how you find if you're in deviation is you figure out the population based on the census in each of those districts, and you use their formula to determine what your percentage is. So you figure out your total population, you divide it by the 4 council districts, and then you take the highest district count minus the lowest district count, and you divide that average population by 100 to figure out your percentage. The state requests that you must be at 10% or less. With our current districts, we are at 1.9% deviation. So that's really close. It is for you to decide if you want to keep that or not. It is my suggestion that our districts are within the state rule, and they are fine as they are. So the ordinance has been written up to reflect the current districts for the council. When you look at commissioner districts, it's not strictly based on population. There's a little bit more to it. I feel like we've shared the IC code with all of you. Greg Schneer has been involved in that conversation. And when we look at those districts, they are set up as they're fine as well. So it is again my suggestion that we sign this ordinance to reflect that we'll keep those districts as they are.
Though not required, I think it's wise to keep the districts somewhat close in population, but I think we have to measure that against the confusion it would make by splitting up a township or other area if it was designated another area. After reviewing the population for each of these commissioner districts, I feel it's more important to keep the current that we have for the understanding of the voters and not making any changes that could confuse that issue. Other than that, I weigh that as more important than getting the populations equal between the three districts. But I think they're close enough for the purposes of this. And as we all know, we get voted on by the whole county, not just by our district. So everybody gets a say in who holds these seats. So I'm happy with it being as it is.
Can I add?
I would agree that I'm good with it the way it is, and you're right, we do not represent the voters in our district. We represent the voters in the entire county. The districts are set so that we're not all living on the same street, so that we are residents of various parts of the county. So it's more about geography than it is population when it comes to commissioners.
I'll add to your comment. When someone calls our office and wants to know who their commissioner or who their council member is, we put it's on our county website who is the elected official and what their district is. But if we tell them, they can call any one of the three. So while it is based on where your residence is for running for office, you do represent all the county, and we share that information when we get a phone call.
So I'm good. Oh, there it is.
And the document is in front of Commissioner Bromless. If you want to make a motion on the proposed ordinance.
I will. I move that we adopt ordinance number 2021-34, ordinance of the Board of Commissioners of Du Bois County, Indiana, establishing county commissioner and county council districts for Du Bois County, Indiana, as presented to us this morning.
I'll second this motion.
We have a first and second. Any other discussion on the issue? Any comments from anyone else in attendance? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. All in favor of ordinance number 2021-34, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Do you have any other business for today?
Nope, thanks.
Clerk Kittenbrook, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for your work on this.
All right, for the Board of Commissioners, is there any other business for the board today? Commissioner Browns?
Department head meeting, Sandy, you have that scheduled for next
Postpone it to next Wednesday.
Wednesday.
So you need to come up with an agenda.
And you're able to do that now.
And like things that we need to discuss with people, do we have any ideas? I mean, you can probably bring up if you wanted the jail's going well, the sewer district, where you're at with that. I guess just things in general that we've been talking about here, we can share that information.
And I think Marky has,
Yeah,
I don't know what time frame or how much in time, in minutes, but he has something on open enrollment.
Another issue that we talked about last Monday, we asked the sheriff to provide the jail report, a monthly jail report. I asked him yesterday to do that again. He said, no problem, he's happy to do that. And with,
The purpose of the meeting, I think, is included for what it's worth to you.
okay, so we aren't allowed to discuss miscellaneous items?
That is correct.
Then I rescind my comment, and I will close the meeting. Thank you.
Gave you too much room.
That's why you're here, right, Greg?
we sure appreciate it.
You just wanted to get out of here quick.
I've been here a while, I'm not in the rush.
You and him are, we need to get out of here, huh?
Greg, what time you wanna leave town? Yeah.